Fit him with a restraining bolt.
I think I
You're a feisty little one.
Hey guys, welcome back to my studio. Today I was going to show you what I've been up to on the naked C3PO. There's been a few little developments today mainly, but last week I had a couple of days off because I just wasn't feeling it. So I got to work today and I've done a few bits here. Last week where I left you, I was about to start the neck rings. And I did those and then I ended up having to change it all. So today I've actually gone back and rebuilt all of this collar section. So this piece here basically has had to be rebuilt, and also the rings on the back had to be rebuilt, and I had to do quite a bit of refinishing to the seam lines where this originally was connected, because it just was all mangled and didn't really look all that good. So what I did, I've taken a wedge, and I don't know if you can see that, there's a little wedge piece I had to put back in each side. I had to get the alignment of the ring actually straight, because when I put it all together, I found that the center points were all off, and I had differentiating measurements from the shoulders to where it started. So I've really tried to get that central, which was a bit challenging, but I've managed to get that all sorted. So now I've got fairly even proportions on either side of the chest piece, which is now a lot better. So then today, like I said, I had to put these new mandible pieces on, because the old pieces were like stuffed. I don't know what happened, but yeah, I think after chopping the neck rings off the main body part a couple of times, it just was really mangled and it looked like crap, so I had to rebuild that. What I did do, and something I'm possibly not entirely happy with, was I used my original pieces that I cut for the first neck ring that I made, and I've put them back on with new, some new internal sections, but I have a little bit of warping on some of my pieces, so I might have to try and just straighten those out with the heat gun. Shouldn't be too hard, but it's just annoying that I have to go back and fix bits that should have just been nice and clean to begin with. But that's where we're at. So I'll just give you a bit of a close-up of what that looks like now. And I'm going to show you, if you have a look here, I'm just going to insert a little picture for you so you can see. So you can see in the old neck section, it was quite thick, and it was too thick for my neck. So when I was wearing the torso, the neck piece that I made originally was about 3 centimeters high. So that was really coming up too close to my chin. And I was just picturing wearing the helmet and having no movement and no sort of defined neck region, which is kind of what I need. So another challenge that I've found by changing this neck section was the angle now that the neck ring sits at, which is better for me because it comes down more of an angle like this rather than being level. So it gives me a bit more clearance in my chin, but it just means that now these mandible sections on the collar, they sort of don't look exactly true to the original 3PO. Some of the proportions of this opening here are not exactly right, but at least the shapes look better. So unless someone's really going to sit there and with an actual photo of 3PO and sit there and compare it, I mean, no one is like that. I think I'm probably my worst enemy when it comes to things being exactly right, but overall it looks pretty good. So I just will clip this on so you can have a decent look at it. The only other thing that I have to do now is finish off. There's, as you can see inside there, there's some little tiny details, like little rectangular details. I just have to finish those along the back side of the neck ring, and then I have to put through like the little, there's little posts. Now I did on the previous neck ring build those, and I just used the shank of some pop rivets, and I had them drilled in there, and you know, they basically just were press fit into the old neck ring, but now I just have to drill through the 2 layers and have them basically just stuck in there like that, and they'll just go in between each of the little details in the neck there. So that's all fairly straightforward now. That's all fit together pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. The only other thing I have to do is with this neck piece, it does need to be removable, because when I take apart these shoulder straps, and now this is another thing I've got to fix. Bear with me for a second. I made those little tab hook things. They're not strong enough, they keep cracking off, so I'm gonna have to just put something else in there. But yes, basically what happens is the bottom half slips into the bottom section of the back, and then the 2 shoulder straps that go over side of the neck, they just slot in there. So I just have to create another system like that for this piece, so that when I've got this torso section on, like this, then this piece will just slip straight into there and just have some little locating pins or whatever I figure out, but that'll just slide in there. Another thing I thought of doing is maybe having like Velcro tabs, and so it just sticks on the Velcro, so that's another option. But overall, that's all I've got to do for that section there. And then today I also did some minor adjustments to the back part here. There's not a lot of photos of the naked C3PO puppet anywhere online. There's only just some sort of quarter angle shots, but one of the things that I noticed was this section here, I had it going straight across. That I had it like that before, and then I saw some photos where the actual puppet has some handles that go in here, possibly to, I don't know if they were maybe just to animate something. That they certainly weren't part of the hands, but there's these 2 things that stick out on some of the photos that I've seen, and they kind of look like handles, but I'm not really sure what they do. But there was also a bulk of wiring coming out of the torso at the back there, underneath the little backpack. So yeah, that's what I did. I cut that out. There's some little sections here that I cut out just because that makes it look a little bit more like the original puppet. And then I've just filled in this section here. So that just needs a couple of little details. I think I saw some pictures somewhere. There's kind of like some little grills or venting things on there. Personally, I think they look kind of lame, because the real torso, I'll just show you, has, oh no, sorry, not that. On the proper C3PO costume, this is what's on the back. So that's, you know, this is kind of what it looks like when it's a proper costume. So from my sort of the way my brain thinks, that if that was something that's underneath this, it wouldn't look like the pictures I have seen of the naked version. So the naked version has some weird, like bottle cap looking things that stick up there, which to me seems stupid. Like if you had a robot that looked like this on the outside, then why on the inside would it have 2 weird looking bottle cap things in there? And also, if it had something like this on its back, why on earth would it have vents and stuff? You know, there is in Return of the Jedi where, or is it, sorry, not Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, where C3PO gets shot. Chewbacca has the back panel off, and there's like some little dials and weird things and lights shining. I would assume that the naked C3PO version would have that on his back, but he doesn't. So I don't know if I want to build the backpack to look just like it does in the toys and some of the pictures I've seen, or if I actually want to make this look the way it does when Chewbacca is repairing C3PO. I don't know, there's a couple of options there, but that's part of, like, you know, the creative journey, I guess. But yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm trying to think of to do here, to keep it basic, or kind of be creative. I'm not sure yet. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you think I should make this look like the Empire Strikes Back version of 3PO, or if I should just do it like the original puppet. That would be a little thing I'd like to hear from you all, and let me know what you think. The other thing I did was, here there was just some metal cap screws that I screwed into these pieces, and there's one on this side as well. But other than that, I haven't really done much, because today's like the only day that I've actually done any work on this at all. So yeah, I'm just glad I've got most of that done. So the next thing I'm going to do is I have to fix these tabs. I'm thinking of possibly just using these little hooks and eyelets, because they will be fairly strong. So I'm a bit like a gate latch. Come out. So I've just got like some small hooks like that. I was thinking I could use something along those lines just to latch it on the inside. It would just keep it in place, and these can all just be glued into the PVC. And I've got some small eyelets somewhere. Oh, you know what an eyelet looks like anyway. So yeah, I can just you know, have a eyelet thing on this side, and then just have a bit of a hook, much the same as what I've got here, but made with something more durable, because obviously wear and tear on the costume, every time you take it on, put it on or take it off, it's going to flex and crack, and you know, you can see, oh look, I've lost a piece already. My little pocket things that I built there have already snapped off. So yeah, they're only just the basic things I've got to do. And the next thing I'm going to work on is like the pants. This part that basically goes underneath. These are my old 3PO cardboard jobs that I made. I don't know if you've ever seen them in any of my pictures or on Instagram if you follow me on there, but this was my first cosplay costume, and it was entirely made of cardboard. But anyway, I'm just going to use this as a bit of a template to build the naked underpant things that go around there. So that's a fairly simple thing to do. There's a bit of detailing on it, nothing as complicated as what this was to build. This had quite a lot of delays for me because of things not fitting right. So this is going to be very straightforward, and that'll be fairly quickly built. So once I get that done, I'm going to work on the arms and the articulation, also how I'm going to wear it and put them on. I may have shown these to you already. I have got these small bracer things that I just knocked up the other day. I had some little cardboard versions of these. I think I've thrown them out already. Maybe I kept them. I don't know, they're around somewhere. But basically I made some mock-up arm pieces out of Pringles tubes, and they basically looked just like this. The only thing, the reason I did that originally was, one, so I don't waste all my material, and two, was kind of like a design study to work out how these pieces are supposed to fit and how the struts will operate. And so one of the things I noticed is I have a tendency to believe that the piece should be like that with the wrist exposed, but then after figuring out where the tendons on my actual arm, they run on the inside of your elbow, so by having that there, the strut, the little piston thing on the elbow, won't actually work if it goes from here to there. So that's where I realized I had to basically create this. So this part shields the flat part of my wrist, and then the runner will run here and the piston will run in that section of the arm. So that was good to make a mock-up of that. So all I have to do now for these is basically add some details to the elbow section. So there'll be a small extension and a little circular piece there. And what I'm thinking I'm going to do is just have like an outside panel that, you know, basically will Velcro or, you know, somehow attach to my undersuit. And there will be a circular piece at the top, which I've already got here. Oh, it's got little bits and pieces in it. So I've got a piece that will be attached to my undersuit, probably most likely with Velcro, so it'll just be simple. And I'll have a sort of a channel, box channel piece of PVC that will run down here, and I'll have my articulation and my detail. There's like one of those things that goes on the back of the head and in the belly. Naked 3PO has a couple of those there. So I was thinking of just having one piece of articulation in there, and then the strut piece will connect to the other upper arm, and then that'll all operate. Because otherwise, if I have to build around to this side, it just means there's a lot more pieces I have to build onto it, and it may not look as good, but that's still something that's up in the air at the moment. So yeah, that's where I'm at the moment. There's quite a few more things to do. I have been online and I have been looking at different stuff to use for detailing the torso. Some things I already have, like these braided USB cables. There's lots of cool stuff like that which I have got lying around, which I'm going to use. I do have some wire, but some of these thicker gauge wires, you know, my dilemma is if I have too much of this kind of real, like copper wire to decorate my suit, I think it would become really heavy, and it's also quite expensive to purchase stuff by the meter. So it's definitely not something I want to have to spend. I do want to keep my costs down quite a lot. So I will have to find some other types of materials to use for decorating. One of the things I thought of using was just some cheap cord and then wrapping electrical tape around it, but I'm not quite sure how well electrical tape will stay adhered to some sort of rope. So there's a few options that I need to maybe either experiment with or find some other type of product online. There is one product that I have found, but the thing that I am worried about is that it may not look the same as some of the wiring that I've used on my helmet. So I may have to use some real copper wire, like insulated wire, and possibly some of this plastic tube. It's like a plastic spaghetti string stuff. Not really sure what it's for, but I can buy rolls of that quite cheap. So I was thinking maybe I could use a combination of all three techniques, you know, some of this, some painted, some plastic spaghetti tube stuff, and some real wire, but not really sure yet. And I don't want to get my head bogged down with those sorts of detailing things because I can do that later. But yeah, at the moment I've just got to finish off a few little bits, get to work on the pants and the arms, and then you know, in the next few videos I'll start doing the leg pieces. I bought some new material. I got 2 more sheets of PVC the other day, so I've got plenty of material to keep me going, and I will just start getting to work on the rest of it. So yeah, I haven't really thought about the leg design too much, but I think similar to how I'm going to do my arms, that will just be some box, sort of like, you know, just pieces glued together in sort of like an open-sided box shape that will just go over my legs and over the undersuit, and just a Velcro on, or maybe have elastic suspension points. I don't know, something like that. I think if the pieces just Velcro on, I can build the knees, have like some form of articulation in the knees, or make it look like it's articulated, but it probably won't be. I think I can just dress up my actual legs with some pieces of PVC, you know, similar to the way I've made these, just have bits and pieces that like just stick onto my body. That way it's not a full 3PO, you know, slide into legs, all that kind of rubbish, because that's just too complicated. So I basically just want the suit to be the undersuit with painted wires, possibly some layers of wires that I can drape over me and attach, and then the panels, like the body panels and leg panels, will just attach onto that. They will also have some of their own wire decorations as well on top of them, just to add an extra layer of detailing. But that's the general rough plan of what I'm going to do. And yeah, all I have to do is just basically get it done. So yeah, it's been good because of COVID-19. I've had a lot of time on my hands to, you know, build all this stuff. But time's running out where I'm probably going to have to go and find a job soon, because for those of you who aren't in Australia, our government's paid some staff who have jobs a allowance to keep, so the employer keeps you employed, so when everything goes back to normal you can just go back to work. But in my industry, I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to go back to work in September, so that's evidently when the money, the allowances are going to stop. So it means I've only got like a few weeks left, and I'm probably going to have to find a job. So I have a few little things on my mind that are stressing me out, but it's fun to be able to just do this stuff while I have the chance. But yeah, the likelihood of me being able to continue doing this for too much longer is, you know, pretty slim. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad that I've got a few people who are sticking by me and watching my videos, but there may be a time when my videos are going to just really slow down. So thank you for those who are tuning into my channel. It's I really appreciate it. This is something new for me, but I'm going to try and do more stuff as much as possible. So yeah, anyway, that's basically where I'm at. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next video, I guess.